So lo-fi, getting into lo-fi music has been synonymous with gaming and anime. And over the past 2, 3 years, it's kind of made its ascension to almost being like the music for gamers and the music for weebs, more like it. And a really big channel on YouTube, you probably have heard of it. It's called Chilled Cow. And the famous depiction or the famous picture or video of this live stream is a girl sitting down and she's sitting down and she's writing homework, whatever, and they've got a cat sitting on the windowsill. So it's synonymous at a point where at the start I think it was over 10-20,000 subscribers, and now it's blown up to almost 3 million. So me and Simba are going to dissect why lo-fi music is synonymous with gaming anime and why it's growing so far. So before I give a little rundown of what lo-fi music is, Simba, my friend, I'd like to give you the first question. So lo-fi music, how did you find out about lo-fi music, and why is lo-fi music almost like a tool for you to use in your let's say your teaching life?
To be honest, I found out about lo-fi music from you. I think you and Blinks first introduced me to lo-fi music. You guys were just like, bro, check this out, and I jumped onto YouTube. I just typed in like lo-fi, and like you pop up, the world pop up on YouTube with like all these like 24-hour streams of just lo-fi music, like being played like right through, or you have like some tracks as well that you can listen to. And I think to answer your question, like it's such a relaxing sound like to hear, and I use it a lot in my classroom. Like even my kids have come like accustomed to it.
Yeah.
Every time we do like some writing, like reflective writing or like creative writing or anything to do with writing, to be honest, I always put that on because it kind of like settles them down. Or even in the morning, like when they come through in the morning, just kind of like sets like a nice, real relaxed tone for the day. And I kind of like that because then my kids, come in and they get settled because they hear like that music. I just love can I say the aesthetic of it, even though you can't really see it, but like you can hear it as well. And I just like that sound. And I think, I don't know if this would apply to maybe the types of music we listen to, because like I like listen to a little bit of R&B and hip hop. I mean, and there's kind of like elements of that in there, not like real hard out and all that kind of stuff, but it's kind of like a real like slowed down version of it. And it's like noise, but like good noise, not bad noise.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, so that's how I found out about it, and also how I use it. I've used it for about maybe 2.5 years now. I'm in my classroom, and my kids are all used to it and stuff, and I like putting it on as well. Even when I'm working by myself at home, or even when I'm gaming, it just real, it sets the mood. I'll probably even leave it on like when I'm on my PC, and then when I leave my PC for a bit, like I just leave that music on, because when I walk into my room, like my little gaming room thing, like it just settles me down a bit. So yeah,
It's pretty cool. Like I said, lo-fi, it's weird how it's just taken off. Just for a little bit of context, lo-fi music stands for low fidelity music, and lo-fi, it's normally the best way to explain it. It's usually the imperfect recording of a song or a track.
Yeah.
Because the music, it's not compressed, and it's not fine. So when they record in the studios and stuff, this is particularly in the early 80s. I think to a certain degree the early 90s, where the cassette was still in use. You remember the cassettes?
Yeah.
And when you used to play cassettes, they didn't really give out like a clean like clarity to the sound. It was mostly that's more of a digital thing when it came with the CDs, but it's that kind of muffled, kind of crackling, almost kind of, you can't really hear it, but it's there. You can kind of make it out. But that's what lo-fi is. And what they essentially done was that, because lo-fi at the time was almost an imperfect recording that was deemed perfect by us right now, that a lot of hip hop influences back in the late 80s and early 90s kind of just recorded through going with the kind of lo-fi tone to it, which is why I think lo-fi hip hop is blowing up as well.
Mm.
So it's weird because when I came across lo-fi music, it was more so it's speaking. If I'm speaking from like a mental from a mental place, is that I remember this one, like, shit, I just wasn't having a good day. I was at work and I came back home and I was just flustered, kind of upset with things that happened in work. And for some reason, I stumbled across lo-fi. And this was the way I stumbled across it was someone's stream back in early 2018, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then I followed through with his stream and where the links came from, and it was Chilled Cow. And this is when Chilled Cow only had like, I don't know, 25 to 30,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Now it's almost 3 million. And
It's
her
crazy.
live stream, right, on the side, like where they have the chat, people will just be like, it was almost like therapy. People are like, oh,
Yeah.
how are you? How's your day? Life is hard, but tomorrow is another day to. And it became like a community where people built by talking to each other and stuff. And now it's just. But yeah, it's crazy because I always hear your timestamp whenever we jump into Discord. You check on a lo-fi playlist, or and it just goes off.
It's yeah. I think another thing I like about it is I think it gives off like a nostalgia effect, like the lo-fi music, and like I think that's why a lot of people use lo-fi when they do AMVs. Is it called AMVs? The anime like little clips. Yeah. So when they do that, like it has like a sense of nostalgia to it, and you know how they make the video effects to go off every beat, and it just really suits well. But you know it's funny, like when I was scrolling down some lo-fi music the other day, it's funny how a lot of the covers like is anime style.
The colors.
Yeah, like the colors and like the the thumbnails. It looks all like kind of like an anime style to it. But mostly like not like there's different types of anime styles at the moment, but it's more like the real old school one, like Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo and or that kind of style of anime.
All the old school.
Yeah,
like the old. Yeah.
And even some Studio Ghibli stuff too. Studio Ghibli?
Yeah, that's on. Yeah, Ghibli.
Yeah, and it's I know. It just suits that music and that what you see on that kind of like anime. It just really goes together.
The vibe.
The vibe, yeah, that's what it is. The vibe,
yeah. It's chilled vibes. It's that's the thing. I feel like it's more kind of. You can't say because even with Chilled Cow, the girl it's an anime-esque video type live. So that's what I think lo-fi mixes well, because a lot of weebs like to listen to lo-fi. But the thing is, the lo-fi is kind of branched out to like you have chilled hop, you have there's like chilled house, like lo-fi house. It's just expanded, and I think it's become like a acceptable form of music that you play like when you're doing something. Like you said, like you study, or when you have your classroom, or you're doing nothing or lying on the couch, you just put on like a lo-fi playlist, and it's some reason the imperfections of lo-fi make it like the perfect soundtrack to your day. Because high quality sound, I think you can get sick of it. Like you eventually get sick of it, but it's what I used to. Whenever I drive home from work, because I drive home from work early morning, or if I leave to work, it's early late night. Playing lo-fi while you're driving through to town in the city and the bright lights and stuff. It's like, you're right. It's like a calming aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
It's like a. There's this page, one of my favorite YouTube pages, music is. It's like he makes these videos, and it's called Trapping in Japan, and he kind of he videos like 2-3 hours, sometimes lives, like him going through the city. I think he's sitting on a bus.
Yeah.
Where he's just got a recording camera, and you know how people are so interested in Japan. Like Japan is like the most aesthetic looking country that kind of matches lo-fi.
Yeah.
And he's breezing through the city center of Tokyo with a camera, and it's just got music that's kind of like lo-fi hip hop mixed into, and it's like an uptown jazz beat when it gets too crowded, and when it gets to like a quiet street, then lo-fi music kind of like settles in. Bro, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, lo-fi. Do you have anything to add to that, Simba?
Yeah, I think like as well as gaming too. Like
Yeah.
you know, and I know you use it when you play. Like I remember seeing your story. I think a couple of weeks ago you were playing Zelda, and you have some
Still
lo-fi.
am.
Yeah, yes. Still and you have that lo-fi playing in the background. And kind of like you know how like games like have a certain effect on you when they have like their soundtrack
Yeah.
and like you know when you're like in an intense battle, and like you know the drums pick up, and like everything's just going like wild and off, and it's like putting you in that zone. But sometimes you don't want to be in that like high stress, like you know something's gonna happen like zone. And sometimes what I do is that like I turn down the soundtrack of some games and I just put that lo-fi over it. And then especially if you're grinding, like some games, like if you're trying to grind like a level or stuff like that, you know, lo-fi is a really good thing to have in the background with gaming as well. So
They play God of War to lo-fi. That'd be like a strange way to play it.
I think it's different.
Be chopping,
I think
chopping.
yeah, I don't think I'll play God of War with lo-fi, to be honest.
Play
like
some
something like
Metallica.
yeah, something like Destiny I'll play with lo-fi.
Yeah,